Midnight. I can still remember that night. It was very dark. I came to the building. The moon was shining, an omen that something big was sure to happen. I walked into the building. Only the security guard I noticed. I went over to the corner. There I saw him, one of Joe's old pals. I began to talk to him. I asked him where Joe had gone. I knew that he was around somewhere. He opened his lips, but he didn't say much. He then said something, a clue that hinted that Joe was somewhere here in the building. I said my quick farewells, then headed for the staircase. There was a pink man standing there, but no matter. I headed up the stairs anyways. I reached the top of the stairs. An old gangster, a handman, a tool of Joe. His eyes were wide and bright. He couldn't believe that he was seeing me. I asked him where Joe had gone. He wouldn't answer, but it did not matter. I knew that he had to be somewhere in this building. I left the man standing at the other end of the counter. Lucky for him, he did not anger me. 5th floor. I recognized the place immediately from the pictures in the newspaper. There, standing around the corner, was Jonathan Harper, a thug of Joe, first-hand man. I began to interrogate him on the whereabouts of Joe. He told me that I was foolish for walking into this room, but I was not afraid of his typical misdemeanor. I asked him a final time about the whereabouts of Joe, but he only shook his head, laughing, telling me that if I stuck around any longer, that would be the end of me, and that Joe would find a way to take care of me. Harper had gone too far. I pulled up my club and threatened to hit him over the head if he didn't tell me the whereabouts of Joe. He then broke and lifted up his head into my eyes and told me that Joe was waiting for me around the corner. I walked through the gate, around Harper. I put my club away. Then I walked through the door. The great surprise I found waiting for me on the balcony beside the building. It was Joe. My old friend, my old partner in crime, and now my worst enemy. I told him that I had been searching for him all week, and told him that he had better fulfill his side of the bargain and pay up. He then just laughed at me. He told me that was not his concern, and if needed, that he would find a way to eliminate me, to keep me from talking. I told him that he was crazy, and that if he didn't tell me where my share of the loot was, that I'd force it out of him. He then suddenly pulled out a block of TNT and placed it on the ground. Yikes! Moved back towards the door. He then started laughing hysterically, shaking his head vigorously in the air, like an hysterical nut. I then pulled out my AK-47 and told him to step away from the TNT. He paused for a moment with blood in his eyes. He lifted his head up to the sky with a grin on his face, then went for the TNT. I loaded my AK-47, then let the lead fly! I hit him hard and flipped over the edge, falling head first. Down he fell past the 5 floors to his terrible, horrible death. I paused to look over the edge. He was gone. I then began to walk back through the building. I turned back to Harper and told him not to tell anybody, or that I would return with a vengeance and remove him from this filthy occupation. I then walked back through the lobby. Everyone was staring at me. There was no doubt that they knew what had happened. I then left that building on that cold, dark night, never to return. And that is how I took care of my pal, Joe.